Hi, welcome to I Got My Miracle. I'm really excited to be here with my friend Nelson. Nelson, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Each week at Rhythmia, we get to choose one person to sort of represent the field of miracles. And I was at lunch yesterday talking to a few people, and Nelson's story really, and just throughout the week, getting to know him, and I'm really excited to share Nelson's story with you and his miracles. So welcome. So without further ado, hi Nelson.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So Nelson, tell me where you're from.
I'm currently in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Excellent. And you were born and raised there.
No, born in New York.
Born in New York. Okay.
Yes.
But of Puerto Rican descent.
Right.
Okay. And
My wife. I met my wife there in Puerto Rico.
oh, wonderful. And you shared with me that your wife's passing was a big reason why you came to Rhythmia the first time
Right.
in November of 2025.
24.
She passed away.
She passed away in 24. I came in November 2025.
Okay. And but before we talk about the first time, you had this is your second time here,
Correct.
and you had some big insights this week.
Yes, I did.
Tell me a little bit about what was some of the big insights for you this week.
The biggest thing for me was that I learned to love myself as God loves me.
Mm.
And that took away everything. That took away every doubt, every fear, every timidness that I might have had, for being what I would consider different. Um, but I'm not different. I'm just unique. So I'm grateful for
Yes.
that.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Um, it's so funny that you said that because when Reverend Michael was here in January, he did a workshop, and he's my teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and he was asking intentions or something in the workshop, and I said, you know, I want to love myself the way God loves me, and he said, well, that's the beginning of spiritual awakening, and I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll just take that, but I feel it's I don't. I have to say, I think it's a profound extension of a lot of spiritual work to get to a place where you can really love every bit of you.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
You know. So we were talking at lunch yesterday. I want to stay on this theme of self love
Mm-hmm.
because it's so powerful. But we were talking at lunch yesterday about a sense of comparison that you had because of your siblings, your
Mm-hmm.
older sibling and younger sibling,
Right.
and they're kind of successful,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't feel you were successful in the same way.
Right. Right.
Tell me about that kind of being different, and how that limiting belief played out in your life, and maybe how it changed this week.
Well, there are actually five of us. I'm in the middle, kind of right in the middle. But as a child, we had similar teachers in school, and they would always compare us for whatever reason they had to do that. But they always wanted to adopt my older brother, and my sister was never in school, so she was an angel. I, on the other hand, was always the one that needed my parents to come to school to talk with the teachers, and because I was a clown or I didn't behave according to the way my other siblings did. They were angels, they were nice. Uh, so that kind of stuck with me because one was um, well, they were both lovable, and then the question about my behavior was what was wrong with me, what happened to me,
Right.
so that I guess stuck on my head to some degree
Of course.
subconsciously, and that enabled so many things to grow out of that. Fear, not feeling good enough, um, and as a result, you try to then build a life to protect yourself from that, to protect yourself from me being compared in a negative way
Right.
to someone else.
And fundamentally feeling like there's something wrong with me.
Right.
What's
Exactly.
wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
That's that fundamental story is um, for me also has it's been a that's where loving all of me, I got to loving all of me through that story of I'm broken.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. I'm not like everybody else.
Right.
Sounds so simple, right? But it's
Oh.
super profound.
And you take that with you in your relationships. You take that with you in your employment and whatever you do in life. You always feel like there's something missing. There's not. They're not meeting the expectation.
What did you see some of the strategies, coping strategies that you came up with? Like, what were the things that the repetitive patterns that you did in life to try and keep you from feeling like there was something wrong with you, or not let anybody know there was something wrong with you?
You create. You're living with a mask. You create a facade so that people will think differently of you. You know. So you just become creative so that people don't really get to know you the way they think, the way you think. You know.
Right. I found for myself, I was always sort of managing what I thought other people would think
Right.
of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like, I got to manage the way you think of me. I got to manage the way you see me. And that brought on perfectionism
Right.
and control and pleasing, people pleasing.
That's a big thing, people pleasing.
You know,
Absolutely control.
and then also, like, one thing that I would do is just say stuff, right? Like, I'd be talking to somebody, and instead of like really answering from my heart or my soul, whether I agreed or I disagreed or I didn't understand, I would say whatever needed to be said to appear like I understood, like I was smart, like.
And to make to seem that just that you understood and that you could relate.
Right.
And when in fact it was just the opposite because you had no clue.
Exactly. But you got to keep appearances up, right?
Right.
So powerful. So that was, this is your second time,
Right.
and that's really what came up for you.
Mm-hmm.
What and so you're leaving with this profound sense of self-love.
Absolutely.
And you said last night breath work. Tell me a little bit about your experience of breath work.
Breath work. The first time around here was my first day here last November 2025. Just with that first experience with breathwork, I was in tears. I was not the only one, but I was in tears. Yesterday with breathwork, I was sobbing wide and openly and loudly, as were the people all around me. It was just amazing. I felt an immense freedom, joy, and and just relief. You know, it felt so loved.
And
we hugged each other after that. Well, you know, the whole group, so it was great.
this was last night.
Last night, yeah.
Yeah. So it's so powerful, especially Friday night after you've been together through 4 plant medicine ceremonies.
Intense ceremonies.
Right? And everybody's so synced up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the feeling of unity and cohesion in the group.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
really
amazing.
Powerful. So 44 years you said you were married.
Yes.
And you lost your wife in November of 2024?
September
of 2024. And then what brought you to rythmia the first time?
It was just that the whole grieving process. You know, 2025 was a difficult year, um, and it was through a podcast that I've been looking into ayahuasca and this whole type of experience, but just didn't know where to go, where to turn to, and I came upon a podcast with Michael Bethworth and Cesar Milan, and the next day I called and set that initial call.
Both Reverend Michael and Cesar Milan
Right.
are on our board of directors.
Exactly.
So they must have been talking about rythmia.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful that you felt comfortable, right? Because kind of these two guys you trusted.
Well, my daughter and I were both sitting on that, listening to that podcast, and we both at the same time pretty much said, "Yeah, that's it. That's the place. That's the place to go."
Wow. So you came in November,
Mm-hmm.
and what was the big theme of that first trip? What was the first?
It was I needed help with the whole grieving process. You know, I you know, again, try to put a mask that everything's okay, you're okay, getting over this whole situation, but I wasn't. You know, every time I was alone at home, it was a difficult time, and So that's why I initially came, because I needed some direction, needed some relief, needed some help.
Yeah. And what did you find that first trip back in November of 2025?
Well, it was a very hard week for me. That very first day, it was a very painful, ceremony for me. I cried like I've never remember ever crying before, for the length of time and for how loud it was. Um, and in comparison to this time, I did cry as well, but I cried because I was free, and I felt so much love and so much gratitude. So
I just want to stop there. I cried because I'm free.
mhm.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It's great. It's a great
That's
feeling.
beautiful. Mm.
And I'm so grateful. So
Yeah.
grateful.
And that freedom, tell me the key to that freedom. What was the key to that freedom for you?
I decided when I came, I was just going to surrender to Mother Ayahuasca. And it was in that surrender that I said, whatever has to be done, let it be done. And I'm not going to put any resistance. I'm not going to let my past belief system interrupt what needs to be done in my life.
That was this time,
yes.
you kind of said.
Right.
Now, at Rythmia, we have three master intentions, right?
Mhm.
That the whole group sort of goes through these three intentions: show me who I've become, merge me with my soul, and heal my heart. Now, when you come back as an alumni, we do those three intentions, but there's a whole other program
Mhm.
called the Nine.
Right.
So we have a special program for alumni guests, for return guests. Tell me your experience. This was your first time in the Nine. What was that like for you?
That was it was great because it enabled me to redirect, okay, intentions, um, the gift, the freedom, and what was the other one?
The three freedoms, the three gifts, and
Right.
the three awarenesses.
Right, exactly. And so it enabled a redirection and a purpose in the continuity of what I came here for initially. So that was helpful.
And we have 2 1-hour additional classes, right?
Right.
So how were those classes? What did you learn in those classes?
Oh, that was great. It was helpful, and what I learned was that you know that there's more to do. There's more, um, basically that there's more work to be done, and directed me in how to do that, and how to focus and expand from what I had initially came for.
Yeah.
So that was helpful.
I find that ceremonies without a clear intention tend to drift,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And there's not a lot of clarity because the answers, whatever you're getting, you don't know like what lens to process them through.
Right.
But when I have a clear intention for my ceremony, then whatever comes up, I process it through the lens of that intention. So, as an alumni coming back and having more direction for your continued
Right.
study.
It was very helpful. Again, that was helpful because had I not had that, again, I probably would have approached this very differently, and who knows what the results would have been. But
So, as we were talking earlier, you are a retired nurse,
right,
right? You were in this healing profession for 34 years? 31 years, which is amazing. Thank you for that. So what's next for you after these 2 trips to Rhythmia? What's next for Nelson as he returns home?
Continue the integration, number one, so that I can continue learning, growing, and hopefully influence others to take advantage of this great opportunity that we have here
Yeah.
with me.
Is there something knocking on your heart, knocking on your soul for the next chapter of your life?
Well, I'm actually looking possible relocation, permanent relocation. Um, although I love where I live, it's a beautiful island, and I enjoy the high in life. I enjoy going to the beach, several times a week with my dog and to take a walk there. But I also have a lot of memories and a lot of things that just need some time away from. And so I've been uh, traveled to a few places, plan to continue to travel um, to explore and see what options I have available.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting.
What places are you looking at?
Costa Rica,
Excellent.
Colombia, Panama. There's one little town in Italy that I'm looking at as well. So Marina de Ragusa. So that looks interesting.
Excellent. Brother, well, safe travels. Anything else you want to add? Anything else that you want to say?
I would just invite you know you, everyone to give it an opportunity, give it a chance to try something different. Whether you're fearful of what you've heard or seen or regarding plant medicine or places like rythmia, you got to break away from that old belief system and try it because I did that. I took a risk of trying something different from what I was known to be the correct right paths, and it was the best thing, the best spiritual experience I've ever had in my life. So.
Brother, that's beautiful. Thank you. I've enjoyed getting to know you better this week, and every conversation we've had, you're just such a loving, brilliant, intelligent, insightful soul. The things that you say, speak to my heart. I know they've spoken to everybody else's heart. So I really thank you for bringing your heart here and sharing with us, brother.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right. We hope to see you guys next week for I Got My Miracle. We got Jerry's Talk on Tuesdays. And then I'm doing Walking the Path on Thursdays. So we got your live streams covered. Come back and see us. We'll see you. Happy Saturday. Many blessings.